So far, you've learned that structures allow you to encapsulate your programming logic by grouping related data and functionality in a meaningful way. And, as you may recall, this takes form as properties and methods. As a developer, you may encounter a situation where you need to alter the properties within a structure. And when this happens, you need to use a mutating method. Over the next few minutes, you'll learn what a mutating method is and why it's useful. You'll also explore the process of creating a mutating method in a structure with a practical demonstration. By default, methods within a structure cannot alter the values of its properties. A mutating method, on the other hand, explicitly states that the method will alter a property and that the property you alter is assigned a new instance when the new value is assigned. As a result, developers using structures need to be conscious about altering property values in a structure. The Swift programming language uses mutating methods to achieve this. Let's position this with a scenario. Little Lemon wants to track the order count for specific recipes. They also want to increment and decrement the order count. Let's explore how this can be done with a structure and mutating methods. First, I create a structure called recipe. Then inside the structure definition, I add an order count variable property with a default value of 0. Now, I want to create two methods to conveniently update the order count property value. One to increment and one to decrement it. If I were to use a non-mutating method to change the property value in a structure, the compiler will throw an error. For example, in the struct definition, I add two non-mutating methods, one to increment and another to decrement the order count. The increment order count non-mutating method uses the addition operator followed by 1 on the order count variable. The decrement order count non-mutating method uses the subtraction operator followed by 1 on the order count variable. As noted earlier, the compiler throws an error stating that self is immutable, informing me that the property value cannot change. However, the compiler also suggests marking the method with the mutating keyword to make the struct instance self-mutable. Self indicates the structure instance or the recipe structure in this case. So to convert both non-mutating methods to mutating methods, I simply insert the mutating keyword before the func keyword for both. Great! Now that I have created the mutating methods, let's explore how they are used. At the bottom of the playground page, I create a recipe variable and assign it with an initialized recipe instance. I use a variable here to make the recipe struct instance a mutable value. This is necessary to increment or decrement the order count inside the recipe struct instance. Next, I print the recipe order count. And now I run the code. The console logs 0. This is the default value of the initialized property. Next, I call the increment order count method on the recipe variable. Then I print the order count of the recipe. Now when I run the code, the console logs 1. This confirms that increment order count mutating method is working on the recipe struct instance. Now let's check that decrement order count works as intended as well. I call the decrement order mutating method on the recipe variable and print the order count of the recipe. I run the code and the console logs 0. Great. The decrement order count mutating method behaves as expected. And that's all you need to write and use mutating methods within a structure. I've created a feature that helps track and update Little Lemon's order count using a structure and mutating methods. In this video, you've learned that mutating methods make it possible to alter property values within a structure. By following the practical demonstration of incrementing and decrementing values, you should now better understand that declaring a method as mutating explicitly states that a property value within a structure can change. And when a property value change occurs, a new structure instance is assigned.